Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Dristhi IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. In this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from Economic Times, published on 2nd of November 2020. The title of today's editorial is Unasked Questions in the Power Sector. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 3 and primarily with the section that includes infrastructure, which has energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. Some key points from today's editorial. At the recent India Energy Forum meet, Prime Minister Modi emphasized the need of energy access, affordability, reliability, and responsible pricing of the crude oil in the global market. But there were several issues which he didn't touch, and yet they are of great importance. Now, the Indian Energy Forum meet about which we are talking here, it was inaugurated on 26th of October 2020 and it went on till 28th of October 2020. Now, it can be said as one of the best global platforms to discuss some of the reforms required for accelerating investments into the Indian oil and gas value chain. Now, this was the fifth event organized by Niti Aayog and Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Now, the problems about which we are talking, they are not just related to the rampant giveaways. No. That's not the problem, though it is one of the biggest problems, because what exactly happens is when these rampant giveaways are being given to the people, power distribution companies, they are not receiving any revenue for that. And at last, this entire burden is shifted on the shoulders of state government because most of the power distribution companies, they are state-owned. The problem that we are actually talking about is more related with the renewable sources of energy and how a proper integration with the conventional sources should be done. Now, in the meet, Prime Minister Modi said that India is set to nearly double its energy consumption over the long term. Also, India's large addition to renewable power capacity is impressive, but it would be suboptimal without integration with conventional power and grid security. See, India is moving in a great direction when it comes to renewable power generation and renewable power capacity. But this entire thing will be absolutely suboptimal unless a proper integration of the renewable power is done with the conventional power and grid security. Now, some idea about the energy consumption of India. See, the total installed capacity, if we talk about the total installed capacity, so we have a total installed capacity of around 358 gigawatts. Now, it is absolutely 4 times of what we had in the year 97-98. So that's a tremendous achievement. Now, this entire installed capacity, there is a general classification. I'm providing you a data based on March 2019. In which the thermal energy capacity contributes around 200.7 gigawatts. The hydel energy provides for 45.39 gigawatts. Solar energy contributes 28.18 gigawatts. The wind energy contributes 35.63 gigawatts. And the nuclear energy contributes around 6.7 gigawatts. Okay, now It is to be noted that India has already expressed its wish in order to fight against the global warming issue. So, under the Paris Agreement, India declared its INDCs. I hope you people are comfortable with INDCs. Now, INDCs are intended nationally determined contributions. Now, India has declared its INDC targets of about 40% cumulative electric power from non-fossil fuel. That means from the non-conventional sources. We won't be using any conventional sources, but India has said that according to its INDC of the Paris Agreement, India will be making an effort to produce and use at least 40% of the total power of the country made from non-fossil fuel, and this is to be achieved by year 2030. Now, India has a very ambitious journey to achieve renewable energy capacity of 175 gigawatts by 2022. Now, it has been said in the policy of the present government, they have said that by 2022, India will be having at least 175 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity. This same figure is actually posted for 2030, and it has been said that by 2030, at least 500 gigawatts will be from the renewable energy. Now, if we speak about the 175 gigawatts plan, so under this 175 gigawatt plan, it has been said that solar energy will be contributing around 100 gigawatts, wind energy will be contributing around 60 gigawatts, and biomass energy will be contributing around 10 gigawatts. Now, other than this is from the absolute, you can say, solar, wind, biomass, like this is absolutely causing zero trouble. Also, it has been said that by 2027, India aims for 15 gigawatts of nuclear energy and 72 gigawatts of hydel energy. Now, this is to be achieved by 2027. So, India is taking significant steps towards the non-conventional sources of energy and energy generation from such sources. Now, let's talk about the issue. Where is the costing of the expense on such integration in the cost of renewable power? Now, when we are making any such integration between the renewable and the non-renewable sources, we don't have a complete idea about the costing. If you back down thermal power to feed or in solar or wind power, you have to pay the thermal power plants for their available capacity, even if you draw zero power from them. See, if we are completely supporting the solar and the wind power, yet we have to pay for the thermal power plants for the available capacity. It cannot be like you have absolutely shut them down. You still have to pay them for the available capacity which they have, even if you're drawing zero power from it. Now, we don't have any clue about what are the recent research and development in the long distance transmission. Now, when we speak about the long distance transmission, it means, see, electric power transmission is nothing but bulk movement of electrical energy from a generating site, such as a power plant, to an electrical substation. Now, the interconnected lines which facilitate the movement, it is known as transmission network. Now, even today, we don't have a proper research and development on the long distance transmission line. Can the recently identified method of producing superconductivity at ambient temperature, even if under high pressure, be utilized to transport solar power generated in Western Sahara at 3 p.m. for consumption in India at 7:30 p.m. when local solar generation has stopped? Okay. Now, we are talking about one of the recently modified methods. Now, in this particular thing, what we can see is we are talking about superconductivity. Now, first of all, we have to understand what is superconductivity or what are superconductive material. Now, superconductivity materials are those materials which can conduct electricity with zero resistance. That means there are zero losses. See, unlike a more familiar conductor, the more conductors that we are more familiar with, such as copper, steel, etc., a superconductor can carry indefinitely tremendous amount of energy and there will be zero losses. Now, so far, till the last year, it was said that superconductivity is actually performed at temperature below normal levels. But the scientists at the Indian Institute of Science, they have confirmed superconductivity at room temperature. Now, the scientists, they were of this idea that materials can behave like a superconductor only at a temperature below 0 degree. But the scientists at the Indian Institute of Sciences, they have said that no, superconductivity of the material can be confirmed at room temperature also. So here we are talking about if we are using this particular process of making a material superconductive. So will it be possible that if solar energy is generated from Western Sahara at 3 p.m., will this superconductive material be used into it, and can that same power be transmitted to India at 7:30? So we are talking about such high technology. Okay. Now there are several questions which are unanswered. Now, what is the economics of the undersea cables for bulk power transmission? The undersea cables. Now, it is again one of the most important development that is definitely required for the power sector. Now, what exactly are the economics of this particular undersea cables? Because with the help of the undersea cables, there will be a tremendous, extremely high level of power transmission. So we are actually quite a lot away from this particular concept of undersea cables. Also, what is the progress in coal gasification? In one of my previous videos, I have spoken about the coal gasification plants. Coal India Limited has actually started with one thing, and it is definitely on the rise. Niti Aayog has also come up with a concept from 2020 to 2030 for the gasification of coal. So yes, we can say that we are actually taking a step towards the coal gasification. Now, it will be one of the best processes if it is achieved properly. So we can definitely ensure that carbon emission at our end can be significantly reduced. What holds back further progress in India's own thorium-based nuclear power generation? Again, now we have to question that what exactly is the thing that is becoming a hindrance in India's own thorium-based nuclear power program. See, when we are talking about the nuclear power generation program, I'll just try to give you a small idea. Look, India's nuclear program is basically a three-stage program. The first stage program, it was the use of the pressurized heavy water reactors. The second phase was the fast breeder reactors. Now, in the fast breeder reactors, the fuel used was plutonium-239. And the third one will be, very importantly, the stage 3. And in the stage 3 program, we are talking about the breeder reactors with the fuel uranium-233. Now, when we are talking about this particular fuel, uranium-233, it will be actually thorium, and thorium will be converted into uranium-233. Now, some of the best uses why we are focusing on thorium is, number one, we have a huge reserves of thorium, but we don't have significant reserves of uranium. For uranium, we have to go to various other countries. Some other uses of thorium are, number one, with the thorium as a nuclear fuel, there will be zero emission of any greenhouse gases. Okay, zero emission of any greenhouse gases. That's the reason we are focusing upon the thorium-based nuclear power generation program. Also, there is another question which is to be asked, that how much are nuclear scientists leveraging the access gained to fusion research in the wake of the Indo-US nuclear deal. See, the Indo-US nuclear deal, also known as the 123 agreement, according to that deal, which was signed between, at that point of time, it was signed between India and United States of America. So according to that deal, this deal would enable full civil nuclear energy cooperation between both the countries. Also, this agreement provided for the transfer of nuclear material, nuclear trade, equipments, components, and related technology. So, where exactly is the benefit of this particular deal with respect to India? How much are our scientists gaining a leverage from this particular deal? So, we got to have a complete information that how beneficial this deal is for India. Now, these questions are there which are actually asking for answers. And it is to be noted that if India wants to be a leader, so we have to work very hard on our power generation, and prominently power generation from the non-conventional sources, because it is our responsibility to act in a manner which becomes an example for rest of the world as well. So viewers, this was with today's editorial. Question that can be asked from today's editorial, a mains-based question that could be like, discuss the challenges in achieving the India's government vision of power for all by 2022. Some other questions can be also based on, they can be somewhat like, what exactly is the non-conventional sources of energy, how they are actually not useful with respect to the present scenario, what are the latest development in the non-conventional sources of energy, how much energy is being obtained from it. So questions like this, they can be asked with reference to the today's editorial. So thank you students, this was with today's editorial. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much.